Video games, we all hate them. But as someone who's on a mission to spread gamer awareness, I think video games are actually pretty cool. The thing is, it feels like every day video games are becoming a broader and broader medium, and soon enough I simply won't be able to keep up with all the types of games out there. It all started with that lame-ass Pong game on the Atari, and then we got the hit game known as E.T. that almost killed the entire gaming economy. And then, finally, with the release of Super Mario 64, we finally get a playable game. Yes, 3D graphics on the all-new console known as the Nintendo 64. Video games soon enough become mainstream with titles like GTA 3, showing that video games aren't just for 12-year-old Nintendo fans. GTA 4 released soon after, being one of the best-rated games of all time at the time, and it made me really want to play this game because this is one of those once few games that could tell an engaging story better than a lot of movies. GTA 4 was where video games were realized as art, not just entertainment. Nowadays, with what feels like the endless growth of the gaming market, gaming is unbelievably mainstream, more so than reading, which I don't know is a great thing, but that's aside from the point. Gaming is so mainstream, I'm wearing pajama pants that have Super Mario 8-bit sprites for the artwork on them. We since got GTA 5. Nintendo released the Nintendo Switch in 2017 to become the third best-selling game console of all time. Breath of the Wild release giving us an open-world Zelda game, and so on. So where is this all going? Well, with so many games out there, we now need to break these games down into genres. They're single-player, narrative-driven action-adventure games such as Breath of the Wild, The Last of Us, and Uncharted. And there's still tons of popularity for endless arcade-like games such as Pac-Man, Super Bomberman, Street Fighter, and Tekken. And with the rise of the internet, we have been blessed with the ability to play online with other players in team-based games such as Splatoon, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, and League of Legends. Making any type of game nowadays is no easy task. In fact, it's pretty much the opposite, because first, you have to create a gameplay concept that is fun to the players, which is an ever-evolving scene, and ideally will have the players wanting to continuously play the game. But that's just scratching the surface. For a successful game, you're gonna need good branding. Ideally, if it's a game that has characters, you want those characters to be cool, stylish, and memorable. And here's the critical factor. While it's not required to have a successful game by any means, you'll probably want it to be a live service game. Now, like I said, not required by any means. I mean, look at amazing indie games such as A Hat in Time, Dead Cells, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Spark the Electric Jester, Patrick the Star Game, and so on. All these games at their core are single-player experiences that are successful in their own way. But then look at Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, GTA Online, League of Legends, Overwatch, World of Warcraft, Wizard fucking 101. All these games are live service games, meaning its core is being an online multiplayer game that needs a lot of active players in order to function. A lot of these games take a free-to-play route, which, basing off of Fortnite's nearly unfathomable success, I can see why it's an enticing route to take. And to be honest, I usually don't recommend this route because it's risky, and to put it bluntly, not every game needs to be a damn live service game. But the incentives are also enticing. It can be free to play, so you can get players very easily to try out your game. And with microtransactions, you can make an uncapped amount of money. I mean, think about it. That's every gacha game's business model. Instead of having the player pay $60 to $70 one time for a game, you can make the game free to play, and that player will spend hundreds upon thousands of dollars on the game for unique cosmetic outfits for their virtual character, unlockable item, or limited edition whatever. I heard that most gacha games earn something like 80% of their income from the top 10% of players, which is crazy to think because while most people may spend a few $100 at most for a game, these top 10% of players are spending like all of their income on virtual goods for a game that's engineered to be highly addictive. Don't quote me, but I heard some of these gacha games take it to such extremes that they specifically add little artworks to payable items that they know that these super addicted players will notice and want. Like, they are catering to that top 10%, and honestly, this sounds 100 times worse than a parasocial relationship because the gacha games are intense intentionally hustling these players. But I'm not here to teach an ethics class, nor do I care that much. Those players can freely spend their money. I'm just here to give a heads up. So if I was leading an indie game studio, what type of game would I want to create? Well, financially, as much as I would want to make a long story-driven game, I'd probably take the live service game route because, let's be honest, how cool would it be to see as a game developer to see that 1,000+ people are actively playing your game at a given time, all playing live matches with and against each other. So let's talk about the little indie game known as Slimecore. And no, this is not sponsored, but they should give me some free merch or something because I'm awesome like that. But the more I learn about this game that I just found on an Instagram ad, the more I'm on board with every creative choice they've made for their game. Personally, if I was making a game, I would want it to be something I like, obviously, and I am personally in love with a punk pop style art direction. Think Y2K streetwear, Takashi Murakami artwork, Splatoon color palette, Tokyo Drift or house music playing in the background, Jet Set Radio Rebellion, retro influence from OG game consoles like the PS2 and GameCube, Japan and anime influence. You get the idea. Well, that's basically what Slimecore is. When you open up the game, you're introduced to a pretty standard looking ready up screen in terms of the UI, but it clearly has this Y2K influence. I mean, just look at that play button. That is not going for a modern aesthetic, but more so an early 2000s look, reminding me more of the old Xbox logo or the Ben 10 watch from the 2000 show. And let's talk about that music. It introduces itself as a radio station known as Slimecore Radio, which is definitely giving that house music vibe, making it feel like you're listening to a live radio channel. I'm pretty sure we're not. And it's bumping that house pop music, which I personally love. And now let's look at that logo. That Slimecore logo looks sick, incredibly slick. Like, I love this logo. It screams Y2K and looks more like a logo from a clothing brand than a live service video game in 2025, and I'm all here for it. The S in the logo isn't even an S. I mean, it barely is, but the logo speaks volumes of how this game just wants to do its own thing. The E in the logo directly attaches off of the M because why not? And the C in the logo looks super funky with what I'm guessing is the core to Slimecore. It's a fire logo, that's all I'm saying. Alright, and now the character. First off, she's a baddie. I just have to get that out the way. I mean, bro, look at her. She does seem a little freaky though with the whole clown look going on, but the character design is so cool. Little demon tail with the short shorts, and I mean one of those shorts looks a little shorter than the other, so she just doesn't give a fuck. She has these gloves with sharp nails that gives me Catwoman vibes. I'm definitely getting a whole Harley Quinn Catwoman fusion vibe from her, and it's dope. Her color palette is loud but cohesive with the purple and red theming going on. And I just noticed there seems to be this glitter-like effect going over her hair that kind of just drifts smoothly, and it's a nice little touch. She has these little floating oars by her, who knows what those do. Overall, sick character design. Obviously a little mischievous, but she's so cool, so take that for what you will. And we got a little background environment going on here. The sky has this dreamy look to it with hues of green, blue, and pink. Very dreamy, very Y2K. The buildings look cartoonish with a whole futuristic vibe going on, and I can't help but notice that deep green portal looking hole in the cracked building, definitely giving a feeling of otherworldliness. It also gives a little spooky vibe with that mysterious red eye with the blue pupil on the building, and from what it looks like, green slime or webs above the vending machine towards the front. Now, this is clearly an online player versus player game basing off of the menu and what I learned from the ad. Plus, the girl on the home screen has a very smooth looking gun, so she is ready for battle. But before we click play, let's check out the other tabs. First off, there's a core hunters tab. When we click it, we're shown the playable characters, starting with this monstrosity who appears to have the name Fugu. It looks like there are 7 characters to choose from in this early access game, and all of them have this lovely 2D artwork as their main artwork. But I do wish we could see the 3D models right here, because we soon learn in game we can't really look at the front of the character we choose. Regardless, we have 6 different abilities to use. There's also a set bonus tab, which looks like are some type of upgrades in game for either your weapon set, health set, or ability set. There's a story tab, which only says once upon a time for all the characters. So it's clear that the story is still in development. But I am a little disappointed because I would love to learn more about these funky looking characters. The skins tab and the mastery tab also have similar work in progress strokes with nothing to interact with. So in that case, let's check out the next character. Next up, we have a character named Selector. And man, I just want to say this character design is so stylish. Definitely the type of art I myself love making. It also has a clear Y2K influence with the cartoonishly futuristic armor. She has a chibi look to her, small nose and mouth but big eyes, a classic anime style to it, and she has this jelly looking hair which I'm guessing is slime based off the general theming of the game. Her abilities seem to be based around sound and music, which is very nifty to see, and I could see that her weapons look more like DJ equipment than anything else.
Oh wow, that's a pretty cool character design there.
Oh hey Malfoy, I agree. Yeah, I was just saying that for a video. This is a little game called Slimecore.
Kinda weird, but kinda cool. Hey, Dengati, have you ever thought of making cool character designs, or no?
What do you mean? I make cool character designs. I do that. I have like cool mascots, you know. You don't think Bear Boy looks cool? I think Bear Boy looks cool.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree with Malfoy on this one, Dingani. I mean, Bear Boy's okay, but I think you gotta work on it. I mean, Slimecore is easily making everything you wish you could.
Okay, Doku Girl, that was a little rude. Pretty blunt, I must say. I mean, you guys like Axolotl. Wait, where's Axolotl?
Oh, she's making pizza.
But she doesn't know how to use an oven.
How do you turn this oven on?
The next character we have is Scanner, which is another female character with slime hair, but instead of being a cutesy character, she clearly has more of a cool over cute vibe going for her. With that being said, she still looks cute and chibi, once again with a small mouth and nose, but with big eyes. But the main standout with her is her armor. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely getting the Kill la Kill or Gurren Lagann vibe from this character, and her abilities support that hutch, with her abilities being power-up moves, a railgun ability, an airstrike ultimate, and a soda battle rifle, whatever that means. I guess we'll have to play to find out. Next up is Claypool, which is the least slime-looking character we've seen so far. He instead looks more like a character inspired more so by dragons, Godzilla, or Pokemon, and by all means is a cool character design. It's hard to make out what he's holding, but it looks like a guitar, so I'm guessing this character is a very punk character, given his multiple chains and spiky character design. His abilities seem to show a mention of an axe, so it looks like that guitar is actually an axe, being his main weapon. Looks interesting to play. Next up, we got easily my favorite character design, Momo, who is a little monkey with a cigar in his right hand. He definitely gives me those early 2000s video game mascot vibes, similar to Bomberman and Super Monkey Ball. He's actually standing on a spherical chest, which we'll soon learn is how he moves around. He's clearly the explosive character, pun fully intended, considering he has a bomb string on his head as a part of his funky character design. I also really like the pirate theming they're giving to him, possibly inspired by One Piece. Really giving him that rebel aesthetic with his scratched eyes, slightly cut ear, hook hand, skull belt, which looks sick by the way, I would so buy that. And let's not forget to mention the TNT he's holding by his tail. Momo's abilities are pretty predictable in the best way possible, being moves that all utilize some type of explosive. Next is Kyra, the character we saw on the title screen, and her 2D artwork is definitely more detailed than her 3D model. Not sure if the models are final or work in development, but it would be cool to see the 3D model as detailed as the amazing 2D artwork right here. As we mentioned earlier, she really does give off that Harley Quinn vibe, with her hair having these spherical ornaments on the bottom, really selling the whole Jinx or mime look. Now, her abilities are actually quite different from what I expected, with one of them being called Dox, which does a damage boost against targets you've doxed. She also has a move named Turd Buddy, which I'm guessing are those little floating orbs we saw from earlier. Very interesting abilities, and I'm curious how they work in game. Finally, we have Vandal, which is similar to Scanner and goes for a cool aesthetic, and unlike Scanner, appears to be dual wielding some pistol looking weapons. Vandal's color palette is mostly blue with some red, mainly from the spiky and stylish shoes, and from what looks like soda cans but are probably grenades basing off of the abilities, such as Explosive Grenade, and the ultimate ability being called Mayhem, which throws a cluster grenade. The Codex tab has a sub-tab for items, augments, and keywords, which is essentially a dictionary for various things to learn about the game, such as abilities, what specific terms mean, and what items specifically do. There is also a Learn tab, which is essentially begging the player to click it the entire time with the way it's flashing. The Learn tab has multiple sub-tabs, with more sub-tabs teaching about the basics of the game, from the slime form to various other modes and what other interactable environmental elements that you can use in the game. There's also a shop option which you can use in games similar to League of Legends. With the slime form mode, it's easy to write it off as a Splatoon clone, which it is clear that it is inspired by it, but it seems like it's doing enough of its own thing where we can give this a proper chance. There's also a season tab, which is mainly for the community alpha players, where they can win IRL goodies, such as a keychain, a mug that they should totally give me, or other things such as apparel and more. And that's essentially the entirety of the main menu screen and what those tabs offer. So what about the game itself? Now, before we hop into an actual game, I wanted to take a look at the environment design, and it is definitely on par with what I was hoping. It has a cool futuristic Y2K aesthetic, and that aesthetic matches the characters perfectly. I really do applaud the team for what they've done so far. In terms of what the gameplay is like, I would describe it as a fusion of Splatoon meets Overwatch meets League of Legends, because when you boot up the game, you choose your character before the match starts like in any other online multiplayer game, but it also does have you select a few special abilities before the match starts, similar to League of Legends, and there's a hub location similar to League of Legends with multiple lanes in terms of the map layout, which I think is fine. It's actually a bit faster and smoother in terms of gameplay in my opinion compared to League of Legends, but it clearly is inspired by a League of Legends, considering the map design, how you could go back to the home base to get upgrades, and how these matches are pretty similar to League of Legends in that aspect, but also have similar objectives like Overwatch, where you would control the point and whatnot. There's actually quite a few different game modes that you'll get thrown into while playing this game. The only downside with this game right now is it's in pre-alpha, which means you could really only play this game properly during the playtest, which is every Thursday. And while I did get a chance to play it myself and play one match, I didn't record it. So thankfully, Raw with Kohut on YouTube recorded his gameplay. And he's really the only person I found on YouTube who recorded something. There's really nothing for this game, which is so interesting to me, because it does seem like, although an indie game with a decent budget, especially because they are making an online PvP shooter, which requires a lot of resources on the front end, but also the back end with proper servers and whatnot. So while he did rate the game 2 out of 5 during his playtime. He played this back in December 2024, and looking at his gameplay, it's clear that it was very early in development, where even the character designs weren't fully complete or just had straight up completely different character designs. The map design is clearly only made for playtesting purposes, and there's so much missing from this game at this current point, including the sound design. Now, when I played it, it was much more polished since then. Now, what's interesting about the indie dev studio Genpop, the creators of this game, is that they seem to be affiliated with some pretty big names, such as Riot Games, the creators of League of Legends and the CSGO competitor Valorant. There's really nothing on their YouTube channel either, only 2 videos being a pre-alpha trailer and a how to play tutorial. They do have a Discord server, which I'm definitely going to check out, but I have to give this game another go before I can properly give it really any type of rating. I mean, it is in pre-alpha after all, but I only played 1 match and it was actually quite short from what I remember. The Discord server is pretty standard for what you can expect for an indie game development Discord server. A lot of fans, a lot of memes, etc. I am really excited about this game because it looks like they made a lot of progress over the past few months, and I'm looking forward to the future of this game. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to leave it here because it's pre-alpha. I'll give it another shot the next playtest, and hopefully it'll get better from there. What I really love about this game at the end of the day are the character designs, the overall theming and vibe and environment that this game brings. It feels urban, modern, and retro somehow all at once, and I love it. I'll put a Steam link in the description for anybody who wants to give it a go. I think this game, like I said, has a lot of potential. But if you guys want some other cool stuff that has some other cool potential, check out my clothing brand. Whoa. I'm wearing a shirt right here. This is my Malfoy Bark Bark t-shirt. It's pretty cool. I also have this t-shirt, which is not a t-shirt. It's actually a hoodie. I don't know why I said t-shirt. It's all out now, so check out my website, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching.